Good morning. Well, it's pretty much afternoon now, but it's Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Oh man, it's been a pretty good week. Scale was good to me this week. Still maintaining that 200-pound loss, and we keep going, right? I went to church this morning, and I was, walking up to the front door, and I see a woman open the door as I'm approaching it, and I watch her. So she has the doorstop, right? The rubber little, triangle thing that you stick under the door so the door doesn't close, right? I watch her put it under the door after she pushes the door open, and I watch her wind up, and she kicks the doorstop. Boom, boom, boom. 3 times she kicks it. And then she lets go of the door, and the door slides shut. Then I watch her push the door open again. She takes the doorstop. She sticks it under the door. Boom, boom, boom. 3 kicks again. The door just slides closed, as if there's nothing underneath it. And then she does it a 3rd time. Pushes the door open, sticks the doorstop underneath it. Boom, boom, boom. And at this point, as I'm approaching, it's amazing me that she could wind her leg back so far and get a direct hit right on the doorstop every time, because she's lifting her leg pretty far backwards in order to come forward and hit this little rubber doorstop. And I'm pretty close now at this point, and she's about to do it all over again. And she's trying to say hello to me, and so she's a greeter, right? And she's trying to do her job and greet me, but then also do her job in propping the door open. So she greets me, and I stuck my hand up and I said, "Let me do it." And I took the door in my hands, and I took the doorstop. I pushed the doorstop underneath the door by hand, and I stepped on the doorstop so it could not be moved. And then I yanked really hard with my arm on the door toward myself, and the door stayed. It was less effort than she was doing, but it got the job done. You see, what she needed was a different perspective. She needed a different perspective, because so often we are caught doing something over and over and over again. And in the 7 years I'm doing this weight loss journey, in the 7 years I'm here doing this, I've watched countless times as someone goes in circles in life, goes in circles. The cycle just goes over and over and over again, wrapping around and wrapping around. And because something worked once, they keep doing it. But whatever worked before wasn't working this time, for whatever reason. The reasons why something doesn't work is not as important as finding out what will work, right? She needed another perspective. She needed to know that there was another way, a way with less effort than the way that had worked for her in the past, but would get the job done just the same. I'm sure those 3 swift kicks worked at some point, because she wouldn't have done it 3 times. That's 9 kicks. 3 times 3. She wouldn't have done it 3 times 3 She wouldn't have done it 9 times if it hadn't worked at least once before. But I came with an outside perspective and with very minimal effort, stepped on the doorstop so it could not move and yanked the door forward rather than kick the doorstop under it. If you're in that moment where something has worked countless times for you and you keep returning and this time it's not working anymore, you should think to yourself, what are the other perspectives of my situation? And whether you have to ask somebody for another perspective or not. You could even say, I've been doing it this way for years. It's always worked. I don't understand what I'm missing this time. Because really, when whatever you're doing used to work, you were a different person. Because right now, that it's not working, you're no longer the same person. You're a new person, right? So just the same that if you've always been doing something a certain way and it always worked in the past, but for whatever reason it's not working anymore, the reasons don't matter. They don't matter. It's relatively useless details. Sometimes why is a useless detail. Instead, we need to concentrate on, okay, fine, accept that this way is now not working. And figure out what way will work now. And once we figure out what way will work, we try that. And you could try it 3 times if you need to. And if it fails 3 times, think of another perspective. And you keep doing things and you keep coming up with new perspectives, whether you have to go to somebody else to find them or not. But no, there are probably a million different ways to do one thing. And just because one thing worked for you doesn't mean it's always going to work for you. And because one thing didn't work for you before doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. Do not limit yourself. We put ourselves in the box that, well, this is what's comfortable and this is what's worked. The whole process of becoming healthy is about learning to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Learning, because really what we need to do is achieve balance, right? Because we have spent so much of our lives out of balance with food, right? And now it's time to find balance. And so what do we have to do to find balance? We can't do everything the way we used to do it, because what we used to do created imbalance. So now we have to do something opposite. So that is doing something uncomfortable that makes it so we can try to achieve balance. Now, whatever that may be, whatever that new perspective is, it doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's a new way. Because the person who you used to be no longer exists. And now it's almost like you have to find a new way for the new version of you. What is the way that this version of you is going to succeed at whatever it is you're trying to do? So what have you been trying to do over and over and over again, and trying to apply the laws that worked in the past, but now they don't seem to be working? And how many more times do you have to keep applying those laws before you can say, you know what? There's got to be another way. What's another perspective of my situation? And whether that comes from within you, whether you go and say a prayer to ask God to show you another perspective, or whether you talk to someone else and say, what do you think? What are my other views here? What are the other angles of my situation? This is what I've done, and be honest, right? Be honest with it. And don't cut people off. Because when you ask for a new perspective, people are going to give you a new perspective. And don't cut them off and say, well, that didn't work for me, because none of that matters. Even if you did try their way, that didn't work for the old you. But will it work for the today you? Something to think about. Something to think about. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. It's family day. Whatever you're doing today, enjoy your family. Enjoy your worship. Enjoy your Sunday. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.